Hi, welcome to a quantitative aptitude video on time and work from careerright.com. Time and work is the most popular and important topic in placement tests, job interviews and all competitive exams. Each exam generally sees 2 to 3 sums of this topic. Many people think it is difficult, but today we learn tips and tricks that will help us solve these sums under 1 minute. Also, you can practice this topic along with other 1000+ aptitude questions on careerright.com. So now let's start with time and work. To solve sums related to time and work, you just need to remember one small tip, and that is nothing but just invert. Yes, invert. What does that mean? Let's see. Say if you have given a value n, then on inversion what will be the value? It would be 1 by n. And if you are given 1 by n, on inverting what will happen? You will get n. Inverting means just take this over here and this over here, right? So 1 by n on inversion you will get n. N on inversion you will get 1 by n. This is the tip that will be useful to solve sums related to time and work, pipes and cisterns, and also sometimes work and wages, right? Now let's take an example and understand what exactly we are talking about inverting. Say if total work can be done in 30 days, okay, entire work can be done in 30 days, then in one day how much work is done? 1 by 30, right? Because we just inverted. So in one day 1 by 30 amount of work is done. That means we are converting days to work. Same way, the opposite, if in one day 1 by 30 amount of work is done, in how many days total amount of work would be done or total work would be finished? Simply invert, and what we get? 1 by 30 on inversion will get 30. So here we converted work to days, so we can go from days to work and work to days by just inverting. Okay, see, it's very easy. If they have given total work can be done in these many days, so in one day how much work would be done? Simply invert it. And if they have given 1 day work, then to find total number of days for finishing the work, simply invert it. See, very easy. Again, now after this, another very small concept which we have learned right from childhood, that is nothing but if you work more, right? If you work more, time needed would be less. Is that right? Time needed less means number of days needed would be less. Is that correct? Yes. Now again, if you are completing some work using 10 men, now if you employ 20 men, what will happen? That means if number of men increase, amount of work done will increase, right? Because 21 men will do more work, and if more work is there, that means number of days would decrease or the time required would be decreased, right? So these two very simple things which we know are common sense, these two will be used for solving sums related to time and work. Let's see how to apply inversion and these small tricks to solve the sums. Question number 1. A can work 5 times faster than B and takes 60 days less than B to complete the work. In how many days does A and B individually can complete the work? Now over here again we know that we just have to invert. N becomes 1 by n, 1 by n becomes n, right? Now let us see what have they given. They say that A takes 60 days less than B to complete the work. That means we do not know number of days for both of them. So let us assume that B takes n number of days to complete the work. So the same work would be completed by A in how many days? N minus 60. Is that correct? Now let's go on to other thing. What is the first sentence? A can work 5 times faster than B. What does that mean? A can work 5 times faster than B. Now say if A is if A is 5 times faster than B, that means B is 5 times slower than A. So if A can complete, and we know that the slower person which is there will take more time, correct? If you do the work slowly, you will need more time, right? So if B is 5 times slower than A, that means B will take 5 times more time than A, 5 times more time than A. That means if A is doing a work in just 1 minute, In how many minutes will B do the work? 5 into 1 minute, that would be 5 minutes, right? So this proves that if B is doing a work in 5 minutes, A will do it in 1 minute. That means A is 5 times faster than B, right? So over here, if B is taking n days to complete the work, how many days A take? A takes n minus 60, and n minus 60 is nothing but 1/5 of the days taken by B, right? Because A is 5 times faster than B. See, A is 5 times faster than B. That means what? That means time taken by A will be 1/5 the time taken by B, right? Because see, here it was 5 minutes, here it is 1 minute, so that is 1/5. Same way over here. If time taken by B is n days, A will take n by 5 days, and that is nothing but n minus 60 as per second condition. So what we will have over here? We will have n equal to 5n minus 300. So we will have 4n equal to 300. N would be equal to 75 days. So these are the number of days taken by B to complete the work individually. Now how many days will A take? A will take n minus 60, that would be 75 minus 60, that would be just 15 days. You can see this 15 is nothing but this 75, and 1/5 of 75, that is 75 divided by 5 is nothing but 15. So this is equal to this. So both the values are same. So our answer is correct. So A takes 15 days and B takes 75 days to do the same work. See how easy it was. Question number 2. If 24 men can finish a work in 10 days, then find the number of days required to complete the same work by 30 men. Now over here, first I'll tell you what a common mistake do people do. What do? They read the sum. Oh, this is very easy. 24 men take 10 days to complete the work. So 30 men will take how many days? They will simply cross multiply, and what they'll get is question mark into 24 equal to 30 into 10. So question mark would be equal to 300 by 24. They'll get around about 12.5 days. But this answer is wrong. Why is it wrong? What we have learnt at the start, if number of men increase, so from 24 to 30, right? If number of men increase, the days should decrease. But here the days have increased from 10 days to 12.5 days, even though the number of men have increased from 24 to 30. So this is the wrong approach. So how to solve these kind of sums? These are very easy. You don't have to do anything. That small tip which we learnt about inversion, that we have to use. What was the inversion tip? If we have n, just invert it to 1 by n. Now let us see what have they given. 24 men finish the entire work in 10 days, right? So in 1 day, how much work is done? Simply invert. What do we get? 1 by 10, right? We invert the number of days, we get 1 by 10 amount of work, right? So 30 men will finish the entire work in how many days? We do not know, right? So over here, what we know, 24 men in 1 day do 1 by 10 amount of work. So 30 men in 1 day, how much work would they do? We don't know. So we will now cross multiply, right? So now we will get into 24 equal to 30 upon 10. 3, 3, 8. So in the answer is question mark equal to 1 upon 8. So 30 men, okay, 30 men in 1 day will complete 1 by 8 amount of work. So this is the work. This is not the number of days. 1 by 8 is not the number of days. This is the amount of work done in 1 day by 30 men. So if in 1 day 1 by 8 amount of work is done, total amount of work would be done in how many days? Just invert. What we get? 8 days. We saw over there at the start that if total work is done in 30 days, okay, then in 1 day 1 by 30 amount of work is done, because inversion. Same way over here, if 1 upon 8 amount of work is done in 1 day, then total amount of work is done in 8 days. We just need to invert, right? Because how is it 8 days? Yeah, it's very easy. 1 by 8 is done in 1 day. So if you add 8 times, okay, then you will get 8 upon 8 equal to 1. That is the entire work is done. Full work done is 1. So we just need to invert and we get the amount of days. Moving on. Question number 3. A can do a work in 3 days, B can do the same work in 6 days, and C can do the same work in 7 days. If they work together, in how many days will they take to complete the work? Now, how to solve these kinds of sums? Always remember, in most of the sums related to time and work or pipes and cisterns, you will need to find 1 day work, right? And then you can proceed from here. Let us see how to do that. A can complete the entire work in 3 days, right? So in 1 day, how much work would be completed by A? Simply invert, that is 1 by 3 amount of work can be done by A in 1 day, simply invert. B can complete the entire work in 6 days. In 1 day, how much it will do? Simply invert, 1 by 6, right? Just invert. C, entire work can be done in 7 days by C. So in 1 day, how much work will C do? 1 by 7, simply invert, right? Now these are 1 day's work of A, B and C. What they say that if they start working together, that means A, B and C, they have started working together. So in 1 day, how much work will A, B, C do? A plus B plus C. So work done by A in 1 day plus work done by B in 1 day plus work done by C in 1 day. So together A, B, C, when they start working, when they are working together, they will finish 1 by 3 amount plus 1 by 6 amount plus 1 by 7 amount of work in 1 day, right? So what is the LCM over here? 7, this would be 42. Why? Because 3 can divide 6, so don't consider 3, 6 and 7, LCM would be 42. So 3 into 14 is 42 plus 6 into 7 is 42 plus 7 into 6 is 42. So we will have 21 plus 6, 27 upon 42. That would be 3 9s are 3 into 14s are. So 9 by 14 amount of work is done by A, B and C in just 1 day. This is not the number of days, this is not the entire work done, it is just 1 day work of A, B and C together, right? So if A, B and C complete 9 by 14 amount of work in 1 day, in how many days will they complete the entire work? Simply invert. What do we get? 14 upon 9. So 14 upon 9 days are taken by A, B and C when working together to complete the entire work. See how easy it was? You just have to invert. First find the 1 day work, then add them and then find the entire work done, right? So this is the trick. Just try to find 1 day work and use the inversion techniques. Moving to question number 4. P and Q can do a work in 12 days. Q and R can do the same work in 16 days. R and P can do it in 24 days. Find the time in which P, Q and R can finish the work together. Again, very easy. You just need to remember, find the 1 day work and invert. Okay, just invert. Now over here what they have given, P and Q can complete the entire work in 12 days. So in 1 day, okay, in one day, how much work would be done by them? Simply invert, that is 1 by 12 amount of work. Same way Q and R can complete the entire work in 16 days. So in 1 day, how much amount of work would be done by them? Simply invert, 1 by 16. Then R and P can complete the entire work in 24 days. In 1 day, how much? Just invert, 1 by 24. So this is the 1 day work of PQ, 1 day work of QR and 1 day work of RP, right? So in the previous sum what we did was that we added the individual 1 day works A plus B plus C. So this 1 day work is nothing but P plus Q, that is of 1 day work of P plus 1 day work of Q. This is of 1 day work of Q plus 1 day work of R. This is 1 day work of R plus 1 day work of P, right? Now add these three, okay, add these three. What do we get? P plus Q plus Q plus R plus P would be equal to 1 by 12 plus 1 by 16 plus 1 by 24, right? So here we get 2 times P plus Q plus R would be equal to, now take the LCM here, 12 can divide 24, so don't consider 12, so 16 and 24 24 2s are 48. 48 is the LCM. So 12 4s are 48, 16 3s are 48, and 24 2s are 48. Right? So what do we get? 4 plus 3 7 8 9. 9 upon 48. So 3 upon 3 ones are 3, 18 6, 3 by 16. Right? So here what do we have? We have to find out the time in which P, Q and R can finish the work together. So P, Q and R over here, it is 2 times P, Q and R, right? So take this 2 over here, what do we get? P plus Q plus R would be equal to 3 upon 32. This is nothing but the work done by P, Q and R together in just one day. This is not the entire work done, this is not the number of days, this is work done by P, Q and R in one day. Here we had 2 times P, Q and R, because see, the alphabets over here are double. Q, Q, R, R, P, P, right? So we got 2 times P plus Q plus R. This is nothing but P plus Q plus R is work done by P, Q and R together in one day. So that is 3 by 32. If in one day P, Q and R while working together complete 3 by 32 amount of work, in how many days entire work would be done? Simply invert, that would be 32 upon 3 days. So the amount of time taken by P, Q and R to finish the work together is 32 by 3 days. Moving on to question number 5. P can do a work in 30 days. Q is 25% more efficient than P in completing the same work. In how many days will Q complete the work? Again over here, very simple. What do you have to do? Invert and also find 1 day work. Okay, what they have given over here? P can complete the entire work in 30 days. So in 1 day, how much work is done by P? Simply invert. What do we get? 1 by 30 amount of work, right? We are inverting. So 1 by 30 amount of work is done by P in just 1 day. Now they have given that Q is 25% more efficient. That means, say if P is working at 100% efficiency, then Q would be 25% more, that is 125%, right? So that means if P does say one amount of work, then Q, say P does 100% amount of work, Q will do 125% amount of work. Say if P does 1 by 30 amount of work, right? 125%, this is 100%, this is 125%. So if P does 1 by 30 amount of work, then what will Q do? Q will simply do 125% of 1 by 30. Right? Because say if a person is 25% more efficient, okay? So if Q is 25% more efficient, this is P, this is Q. If P collects 100 pebbles, how much Q will collect? 125, right? So if P collects say 1 pebble, how much will Q collect? 1.25. Same way, if P collects 1 by 30 amount of pebbles, how much will Q collect? It would be 125% of 1 by 30, because this 125 is nothing but 125% of 100, that is the work done by P. 1.25 is nothing but 125% of 1, that is work done by P. Same way, 125% of P. So because Q is doing more work than P. So if P does 1 by 30 amount of work in 1 day, Q will do 125% times that work. So 125% of 1 by 30, what is percentage? Percentage is nothing but 125 upon 100 into 1 by 30. What do we get? 25 5s are 25 4s are 5 6s are 1 by 24 amount of work is done by Q in 1 day, right? Q does 1 by 24 amount of work in 1 day. So if P does 1 by 30 amount of work in 1 day, or if P does 1 by 30 amount of work, Q is 25% more efficient. So Q does 1 by 24 amount of work, right? In 1 day. If in 1 day 1 by 24 amount of work is done, then total work is finished in how many days? Simply invert. What do we get? 24 days. So Q finishes the entire work alone in 24 days. See how easy it was. Any type of sum, just invert and find the 1 day work. Question number 6. If 3 men can do a work in 2 days and 4 boys can do the same work in 6 days, then in how many days will the same work be completed by 8 men and 8 boys? Now again, very easy. What do we have to do? We have to invert and find the 1 day work. Okay, these two tricks we have up our sleeve. We'll use them to solve the sum. What have they given? 3 men take 2 days to complete the work, right? And 4 boys, okay, 4 boys take 6 days to complete the work. Now if you look here carefully, you will see that the 4 boys take 3 times more time. Men take 2 days, boys take 3 times more, that is 2 3s are 6 days. So what does that mean? That means the men are taking less number of days, that means the men are working more, correct? How much more are they working? They are working 3 times more. So that means these 3 men are working 3 times more than the 4 boys. That is the reason they take 3 times less time than the boys. So 3 gets cancelled, we have m equal to 4 boys. That means one man is working equivalent to what 4 boys are doing. So one man is equivalent to 4 boys. One man is equivalent to 4 boys. We'll need this derivation later on. Okay. Now this is similar to what we did in chain rule. You can refer to the chain rule video also, but this is what we did in chain rule also. Now one man is equivalent to 4 boys. Now what have they given? In how many days will the same work be completed by 8 men and 8 boys? What have they given? There are 8 men and there are 8 boys. Okay, so these 8 men and 8 boys start working. Now it is much better to convert everything into same unit. Either convert everyone into men or everyone into boys. Let us say convert everything into number of boys. 8 men, one man is 4 boys. So 8 men is nothing but 4 into 8, that is 32 boys, plus these 8 boys, you will get how much? 40 boys. Okay, so we have 40 boys who have started working, right? Now what do we know? 4 boys complete the entire work in 6 days, correct? So in one day, how much work will they do? 1 by 6, because we just invert. 40 boys, they start working. We do not know in how many days they'll complete the work. We do not know in one day how much work do they complete. So let's see how to find out. Let's see. Okay, 4 boys in one day complete 1 by 6 amount of work. 40 boys in one day complete how much? We don't know. Simply cross multiply. What do we get? Question mark equal to 40 boys multiplied by 1 by 6 divided by 4 boys. So B gets cancelled. This is 10. That would be 10 by 6. This is the amount of work done by 40 boys in just one day. So if in one day 10 by 6 amount of work is done, then in how many days entire work would be done? Simply invert. What is it? 6 upon 10 days. So the entire work would be done by 40 boys in 6 upon 10 days. 40 boys is nothing but 8 men and 8 boys. So 8 men and 8 boys, when they start work, they'll complete the entire work in 6 by 10 days. Moving to question number 7. Question number 7. Sita and Geeta can do a work in 20 days and 25 days respectively. Both begin together, but after a few days Sita leaves. Then Geeta finishes the remaining work in 10 days. After how many days did Sita leave? Now this might look like a very complicated and difficult sum or a lengthy sum, but it is not. It is pretty easy to solve. I'll explain you the approach how to solve these kind of sums where someone leaves or someone joins in between and all that stuff. Okay. So what is the best approach to these kind of sums? The best approach is line diagram. What is a line diagram? It is nothing but just draw a line. Okay. Just draw a line. The work starts over here. The work ends over here. Sita and Geeta start working. After a few days, okay, after a few days, Sita leaves. Only Geeta remains. Then the remaining work is done only by Geeta in just 10 days, okay. So Geeta completes this much amount of work in 10 days. And initially Sita and Geeta both are working, right. Now let's see how to solve this sum. What do we know for time and work? We must find the one day work and we must just invert, okay. So Sita completes the entire work in 20 days. So in one day, how much does Sita complete? Sita completes 1 by 20 amount of work in one day. Just invert. Geeta completes the entire work in 25 days. So in one day, how much amount of work is done by Geeta? Just invert, okay. That is 1 by 25. So in 1 by 25 amount of work is done by Geeta in one day. So in 10 days, okay, these 10 days where Geeta is working alone, these 10 days, how much amount of work is done by Geeta? It is simply 1 by 25, that is one day work into total number of days, that is 10 days. that is 5 2s are, 5 5s are. So 2 by 5 amount of work is done by Geeta in these 10 days, right? By alone by Geeta, 2 by 5 amount of work is done in 10 days. So this work which is there, it is 2 by 5. So this remaining work which is there, it is nothing but 3 by 5. Why 3 by 5? Total work is 1. Out of that 2 by 5 is completed. So what does remain? 3 by 5 remains, right? So 3 by 5 amount of work is done by Sita plus Geeta together. So 3 by 5 amount of work is done by Sita and Geeta together, right? Now let us see how Sita and Geeta complete 3 by 5 amount of work. Sita and Geeta start working together, right? So in one day, how much does Sita and Geeta complete? Sita completes 1 by 20 in one day, plus Geeta is also working together. So Geeta will complete 1 by 25 amount of work in one day, right? That is nothing but 20 into 25. We have 25 plus 20. 20 into 25 is the LCM. So we have 45 upon 20 into 25. 5 9s are, 5 5s are. So Sita and Geeta in one day complete 9 upon 100 amount of work in just one day. Who does this complete? Completed by Sita and Geeta. Now look at over here on the right hand side. Geeta completes the remaining work in how many? 10 days, right? How much? 10 days. Do we know for how many days Sita and Geeta are working? No, we do not know. So let us assume that Sita and Geeta are working for X days. That means after X days, Sita leaves and only Geeta is working. So let Sita and Geeta work for X days. In one day, Sita and Geeta complete 9 by 100 amount of work. So in X days, how much would be the work completed by Sita and Geeta? That would be nothing but one day work into number of days, that is 9x upon 100. So Sita and Geeta together in X days, when they are working together in X days, complete 9x upon 100 amount of work. But we already know that Sita and Geeta together have completed 3 by 5 amount of work, right? So we have 9x upon 100 work done by Sita and Geeta in X days, which is nothing but the 3/5 of the work which is completed by them. So 5 into 20, 3 into 3. So X would be 20 upon 3 days. So the amount of a number of days after which Sita leaves is 20 by 3 days. So Sita and Geeta work together for 20 by 3 days, and days after that Sita leaves. So Sita leaves after 20 by 3 days. See how easy it was? You just have to draw this line, right? You just have to draw this line, and then you have to remember that you have to find one day work and just invert, and you get the answer. See, you can solve any kind of sum where a person leaves or comes to or joins the work by using the line diagram. Moving to question number 8. When P alone does a work, he takes 25 days more than the time taken by P and Q working together to complete the work. But Q alone takes 9 days more than the time taken by P and Q working together to complete the work. In what time P and Q together finish this work? Now first let us understand what exactly the sum is. It is very easy to solve. Okay, I'll tell you how to solve it, but it might look complicated right at start, but let us first try to analyze what the sum is. Now P and Q are working together. Let us assume that they take n amount of days to complete the work. What they have given now is that when P alone is doing the work, okay, P alone is doing the work, P takes 25 more days, that means n days plus 25. These many days are taken by P alone, okay, to complete the work. 25 days more than the time taken by P and Q working together. So n plus 25, okay. So 25 days more, 25 days are extra but taken by P. Now when Q is working alone, what does Q do? Q takes 9 more days. So n plus 9 more days than the time taken by P and Q working together. 9 more days. So 9 extra days are taken by Q. Here 25 extra days are taken by P, right? Now we have to find out in what time P and Q together finish this work. That means P and Q together finish the work in n days. So we have to find the value of n. Now by going our regular method of one day work and inversion and all that stuff, that would be very difficult, and it would be very difficult to solve it, and it would be really very lengthy. So just remember a very small formula. N is nothing but root of extra days of P multiplied by extra days of Q. What does that mean? Extra days of P. That means P takes 25 days more than P and Q working together. So extra days of P are 25 multiplied by extra days of Q are 9, right? So what is the root of 25? 5. What is the root of 9? 3. Answer is 5 3s are 15. So that means that N is equal to 15 days. That means P and Q together take N is nothing but 15 days. P and Q together take just 15 days to complete the work. See how easy the formula was? The formula is nothing but amount of days or the number of days taken by P and Q to complete the work is nothing but root of extra days of P multiplied by extra days of Q. Number of days taken by P and Q to complete the work is root of extra days taken by P multiplied by extra days taken by Q. Over here extra days taken by P is 25. Okay, 25 days more than P and Q. Over here extra days taken by Q is 9. 9 days more than P and Q. So you have to find how many days P and Q take. Just remember this small formula and you will be able to solve this sum. Moving to question number 9. Question number 9. A can complete a work in 12 days and B can complete in 8 days. A works for 8 hours every day and B works for 10 hours every day. If A and B together start working 8 hours per day, in how many days will they complete the work? Now take a look over here. What happens is this is very easy sum. It is same what we do. Only thing is that here we have time in two formats. One is day and other is hours. So it's much better to convert everything into hours. It is not as if that one day means 24 hours. That means if a person is working for 12 days, so it does not mean that the person is working 24 hours every day. The person is working only for 8 hours or 10 hours as per given condition. So A, okay, completes the work in 12 days and every day how many hours does A work? 8 hours. So total how many hours does A take to complete the entire work? 12 into 8, that is 12 into 8 is nothing but 96 hours. So if A works for 12 days, every day 8 hours, then A can complete the work. That means A can complete the entire work in 96 hours, right? Same way B takes how many days to complete the work? 8 days. How many hours does B work every day? 10 hours. And then completes the work. That means that B will complete the entire work in how many hours? 8 into 10 is equal to 80 hours, right? Now if A completes the entire work in 96 hours, in 1 hour, how much work is done by A? 1 by 96. In 1 hour, how much work is done by B? 1 by 80. Why? Just invert, right? So this is work done by A in 1 hour. This is work done by B in 1 hour. Now A and B start working together. A plus B. So in 1 hour, how much work will be done by A and B? 1 by 96. That is work done by A and work done by B. So what is the LCM? Let's take 96 multiplied by 80. We will have 80 plus 96. That would be 90 plus 80 is 176 divided by 96 into 80. This is the amount of work done by A and B in just 1 hour. Correct? Now A and B, they work 8 hours per day. Right? In 1 hour, A and B complete 176 upon 96 into 80 amount of work. Right? So in how many hours will the total work be done? This is done by A plus B, right? In 1 hour. So how many hours are needed by A plus B to complete the entire work? Just invert. What do we get? 96 into 80 upon 176. These many hours are needed to complete the entire work when A and B are working together, right? Now we have to find the number of days for which A and B are working together. Now we know the number of hours. We have to do exactly the opposite. Here what we did, we multiplied by the number of hours and we got the total hours. Now we want to find the days. Every day if A and B are working for 8 hours, right? So in how many days will A and B complete the work? That is nothing but 96 into 80, okay, 176. This is the number of hours divided by 8 hours every day. So number of days can be found out by 96 into 80 upon 176 into 8. That comes out to be 10, right? Here let's divide by 4. 4 2s are 8 and 4 2s are 8, 16, 24 and 4 4s are 16, 16. So we have 240 divided by 44, again divided by 4. 4 6 are 60, we have 11. So number of days taken are 60 by 11. Okay, 60 by 11 days are taken by A and B when working together to complete the entire work, and every day they will work only for 8 hours, right? See, if they have asked how many hours will A and B take to complete the entire work, this would be the answer, 96 into 80 upon 176. These many hours. But what they have asked, how many days? And that too, it is not as if one day is 24 hours or for every day A and B are working for 24 hours. No, they are working only for 8 hours. So we have to divide by 8 over here. Okay. And when we divide by 8, we get the answer as 60 by 11. So A and B, when working 8 hours per day together, they will complete the entire work in 60 by 11 hours. Moving to question number 10. Question number 10. Raj can build a house alone in 16 days, but Suraj alone can build it in 12 days. Raj and Suraj work on alternate days. If Raj works on first day, the house will be built in how many days? Again, this looks like a very difficult sum or a complicated, tricky sum, because here we do not have the regular format of both working together. Here we have alternate days. Both are working on alternate days. But still, this is a very easy sum by common logic. You can solve it. I'll tell you how to solve such kind of sums, right? What the approach should be. Okay, and in exam on practice, you will be able to solve this sum in just 1 minute. You might think that this sum is very lengthy and all that stuff, but in exam you will be able to solve it in just 1 minute. Let's see how. Now, what have we learned for time and work? Just invert and find the 1 day work, right? Now over here, Raj completes the entire work in 16 days. So in 1 day, how much work is done by him? 1 by 16. Suraj completes the entire work in 12 days, right? Alone. So in 1 day, how much work is done by Suraj? 1 by 12. Why? We just invert these things, right? Now, what happens is that they have given Raj and Suraj work on alternate days. First day Raj works. So second day Suraj will work. Third day Raj will work. Again Suraj will work. Then Raj, Suraj, and it will go on, right? So on the first day, how much work is done? 1 by 16, because Raj is working, and in 1 day Raj completes 1 by 16 amount of work. On second day, how much work is done? 1 by 12. Why? Because Suraj is working, and Suraj does 1 by 12 amount of work in 1 day, 1 by 16, 1 by 12. In 2 days total, okay, in the first 2 days, how much work is done? 1 by 16 plus 1 by 12. How much that would be? That is nothing but 12 into 16. So 16, here we will have 12 plus 16, that would be 28 upon 12 into 16. 4 7s are 4 3s are, this is 16, right? 7 upon 16 3s are 48. This much amount of work is done in 2 days, right? This much amount of work is done in 2 days. Now take a look over here. In 2 days Raj and Suraj work. Next 2 days Raj and Suraj work. Again next 2 days Raj and Suraj work. That means this gets repeated. First 2 days 7 by 48 amount of work is done. Next 2 days again 7 by 48 is done. So 7 by 48, this unit and this 2 days gets repeated. If we repeat it for 6 days or 6 times, right? What will we get? So number of days, if we repeat this unit for 6 times, okay, if we repeat this 6 times, how many days we'll get? We'll get 12 days. And what would be the work done? Okay, that would be simply 7 by 48 is in 2 days. So 6 times we repeat this, we get 42 upon 48. That is nothing but 7 by 8 amount of work is done in 12 days. Now you will ask, why do we repeat 6 times? Why not 7? Let us see. Okay. Now over here, say if we repeat it 7 times, right? What do we get? Number of days would be 2 days into 7 is equal to 14 days. Okay. And the amount of work done would be 7 by 48 into 7, that would be 49 upon 48. 49 upon 48, that means this is greater than 1. Work done can never be greater than 1. Whenever we are building a house or whenever we are painting something like that, we cannot quantify work. So we generally take the work done to be 1. So here work done cannot be greater than 1. So we cannot take 7 times. So we have to take such a multiple which gives us work which is less than 1. So for 6 times we get less than 1, that is 7 by 8, or 42 by 48, that is 7 by 8, right? So now after this, how much is the work left? 7 by 8 is done. So 1 minus 7 by 8 equal to 1 by 8 amount of work is remaining, right? Now 1 by 12 days have already passed. How many days have passed? 12 days have already passed. Now on the 13th day, who will come to work? But obvious, Raj will come to work. How much work will he do in one day on the 13th day? 1 by 16, because Raj completes 1 by 16 amount of work in one day. Now 1 by 8 is greater than 1 by 16. That means Raj cannot complete 1 by 8 amount of work on the 13th day because he completes less, that is 1 by 16 only in one day. So how much work is left? 1 by 8 minus 1 by 16 would be equal to 1 by 16. So 1 by 16 amount of work still is left. Now the 14th day starts, right? Who will come to work? Suraj. Suraj completes how much in one day? 1 by 12. But we already know 1 by 12 is greater than 1 by 16. It is like, say, in one day I make 100 toys, and they are asking me, then in how many days or how much time will you complete 60 toys? So that is less than. So the amount of time needed for me would be less than one day. If Suraj is doing 1/12 amount of work in one day, then 1/16, which is less than 1/12. In how much time will he complete? Let us find out. It is nothing but how much is 1/16 of 1/12? That is 1/16 is what fraction of 1/12? 4 3s are 4 4s are x equal to 3 by 4. That means 1/6 is 3/4 of 1/12. That is, if Suraj completes 1 by 12 amount of work in one day, he will complete 1 by 16 amount of work in how many days? Simply cross multiply and you will get the answer as 3 upon 4th day, 3 by 4 day, right? So now 13 days are complete. On the 14th day, only 3 by 4 amount of day has been used. So total amount of time or total number of days taken by Raj and Suraj to complete the house would be 13 days and 13 and 3/4 days, right? 13 days and this 3/4. So this much amount of days is taken by both of them to complete the house. See how easily using just the invert rule and finding the one day work rule helps you solve all the sums related to time and work. Even if it is complicated, tricky sum, you can solve it using common logic and inversion rule. In exam with practice, you will be able to solve these sums in just 1 minute. So need not worry, just practice and you will be able to master time and work. I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please give it a like and share it with others. You can also leave your comments and suggestions below. If you have a topic in mind, please let us know and we'll develop a video on it for you. Also, subscribe to our channel to stay updated for more such tutorials and videos.